Well, hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mauro and I'm from Crusader Coaching, and welcome to our growth webinar today, how we can grow during this crisis of COVID-19. Today is April 30th, so we're reaching the end of the month here. This is 2020 on the day that we're recording this, and right now we're going through something very unique, a historical event of sorts. We're going through a pandemic known as COVID-19, and it's affecting us all together, perhaps a little bit differently for others. But if there's one thing that we all have in common is that we have the opportunity now during this time to really grow. And that's exactly what this webinar today is about, is how we can take this crisis that we're going through and come through it stronger, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. So today we have a very special guest for all of you. She is a phenomenal massage therapist. She's been in the industry for several years, and she's really helped lots of individuals how to become more mindful of themselves, but also take care of themselves physically and provide a wonderful service. So I'd like to welcome our guest here today, Jacqueline Moreno. Hi, Jacqueline. How are you doing today?
Hi, Mauro. Thank you. How are you?
Super well and super excited to have you here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
Great. So, this is one of those opportunities that we have in our lifetime to really have something shape us, right? So crises tend to do very unique things. It tends to bring out the best in people, and it also tends to bring out the worst in people as well. But at the end of the day, we have a choice in how we choose to respond to the crises that show up in our life. And this crisis is definitely no different than any of that. So during this pandemic, during this health pandemic of COVID-19, why don't you share a little bit about how you personally have grown during this time? I'd love to hear how that's been going for you.
So Mauro, and like you said, everyone's in it together. We're all cooped up in our homes and isolated from each other. And of course, it can create some anxiety. And anxiety doesn't really discriminate, against color, race, nationality, socioeconomic. It doesn't. It hits everybody. And so that's probably been the one thing that has kind of hit me personally, is it brought back some anxiety that typically I haven't checked. I'm a massage therapist. I'm always relieving people from their stress, from their anxiety, and I'm usually always in an upbeat mood. So it just all of a sudden it came like a dark horse in the middle of the night, literally at like 1 a.m. and I think it was week 2, and I was like, this is really real, it really hit me, like, this is really real. Like, I don't have a job. I don't have plans. And literally I have to stay inside because this thing is airborne. At the time, that was what was communicated to everyone. I know this is airborne. You can't go outside. Like, what do you mean I can't go outside? And so, it just became this, like, I'm a fish out of water. Like, I need to breathe. And I couldn't breathe. And I started to, like, feel all that anxiety and kind of like hot, like my body was hot. I was sweating. I was like, what? So it's funny that, well, it's not funny actually, because it wasn't funny, but thinking about it now, I actually practiced all the self-care things, like what you're supposed to do to calm yourself down. started to do all that, all those tips, which I'll share with everyone soon, on what things you could do to kind of calm yourself. But I did that, and it really worked, and I actually called my sister, and just talking to her as well, like having someone that you can reach out to, that you're like super tight with, that you can share like your feelings, and like literally I just released all of that along in conversation, and I felt so much better afterwards. So that's one of the tips, is like have somebody that you could talk to.
Yeah.
And if you don't have somebody that you can talk to, I mean, there is a 1-800 number that you can call.
Yeah, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline.
The National Suicide, right? Exactly. And if that's the place. Like, if you don't have anybody to talk to, call them, and it's just a conversation, and you will feel like, okay, I'm not alone on this,
Yeah.
and really, it made me feel better, because it made me feel like, okay, now I feel like I'm part of this. I'm part of this group that is experiencing the same things, the same symptoms. And then organization, obviously when you go through a transition or a big change, which I have, I know you mentioned I have years in as a massage therapist. I actually don't have years in massage therapy. This is a career change for me. So sorry to debunk that.
I could have sworn that. Oh.
No, I actually got my massage therapy license last year. I went through school last year. I actually finished, I was in counseling and academic advising and career advising for 13 years before I started to do this. So I had a career transition. So I prepared myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I prepared myself for this moment too, because organization wise, I had already been living a minimalist life since I left that career. Yeah. And so I feel that, I feel like I prepared a little bit for this moment, for things like to be kind of like, okay, well, I'm kind of, I went back to school. I was doing the student thing and broke as a student, so I had that again. So, going back to things that just go into a place in your mind and say like, hey, I'm a student again, or I get to live like my college days where I could kind of, reinvent myself. Like, this is a good opportunity to even consider maybe even a career change. I know a lot of people are talking about that on blogs I follow, or even just like beefing up your resume. Oh my gosh, the best time I hear people like, oh, I've taken like 3 online classes already. I got a certificate through EDX. And so I think this is a really good opportunity to spend some time educating, professional development, having a schedule. That's another thing I've been doing, is keeping a schedule, because this is your new life in the time being. So if this is your new life, you need to rearrange what your day looks like. And some of the things that I love to do is incorporate a lot of self-care in that day, because of course, if you're sitting down too long, you're gonna have some aches. And
for sure.
So I totally feel like it hit me, and I've been able to write it after that moment of week 2. I started to really think hard on how am I gonna stay above water, and really ride this wave and successfully, because we don't know how long. And even though some states are saying that like Georgia's opening up,
Yeah.
we don't know when Florida's opening up. I already know, I already heard from the hotels that they're opening up at June 1st here in Florida, but at the same time, you know, spa facilities are not going to be open on June 1st. So
Right.
yeah, so like it's going to be in different phases.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I feel like, you know, we can do what we could do with what we can, and technology is great in that way. And I've been available to my clients via Zoom. I love Zoom.
Very cool.
So yeah. So it's a great, it's great because it's like instead of being on a YouTube video, you get to like, okay, you get to be live, you know, you get to have a live video with someone, and you get to correct them while they're doing
Very
stretches.
Cool. Yeah.
And massages. And it's great because then you're like, well, that's not exactly what I meant for you to do. So why don't we correct that? And then you can. So it's better than just watching a straight up YouTube video, because you know, the person's not able to correct you.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a little bit of that to kind of you know, do stuff that's like creative ways, you know, and still make some money out of it, because you know, we all have to find a way to stay financially stable.
Sure.
You know? We can't rely on the government, right?
Yeah. We don't want to rely on the government to provide us with our means to survive, right?
Yeah, because we're not a socialist country, and you know, God forbid we head over in that direction, right?
I'm out.
Seriously, I'm out too. I and you have Cuban background, so yeah. So your family definitely would be out.
You know, it's funny. It's really funny that you mentioned that, but at the same time, like it sounds like you've really grown quite some bit. Like you had a very big introspective look into yourself.
Yeah.
And it was really real for you, right? Like it hit you, it caused you to feel some of those negative emotions. And you reached out to someone. You reached out to your sister. You have a tight bond with her. You know, so you reached out and you really got into action. And I think that's one of the most important things that we want to, you know, highlight today, is that, you know, it's okay to have that moment of despair. And I've had it in my own way. Jacqueline's had it. I'm sure all of us have had it in some way, shape, or form. And what we get to do with that is we get to choose, well, how do we respond to it? Are we going to let it keep us down for an indefinite period of time, or are we going to rise up? And it really sounds like you've had a lot of, you know, personal growth because of that dark moment. You've reached out. You've really taken a big look at your life and say, okay, well, how can I reframe this in a way that will serve me? And I really like that bit that you talked about. It's like, you know what? Now I get to apply. So now I get to really live out my lifestyle of being a minimalist as I was living before. Well, now I really get to practice it as well. So I really like how you turned that into a very positive way for you to actually take a look at where you're at right now and find new ways to apply it. Creating a new schedule, taking a look at the opportunities you have in front of you, reframing your business to be able to do it online. I mean, that's great. It's like you've really found, it sounds like you focused on several different areas too. You focus on your personal life, you focused on connecting with other people, your relationships, you focused on your business, how to transition it. So it sounds like this time for you has been a very big period of growth. It really has been, hasn't it?
Yeah, Mauro, it's been really great actually. After I realized that, you know, I don't have to fear. I don't have to, you know, stop breathing basically. There's there's so much beauty outside, and so much to appreciate. You know, we're not in a third world country, we're in a first world country. So we live in a more of a luxury than other people in other countries. So there's definitely a lot of positivity that you know, I try to see on a day-to-day basis. So I'm very grateful for you know, for the things that I have. And one of the things that I'm, you know, also as a because I'm so strong in my faith, and faith is really important at this time. And
Yes.
I mean, whatever faith you have, being connected to a higher power, or having some connection to believing in that, it sustains you. It's people talk about sustainability as in the environment. I've been talking about sustainability of your heart and of your mind, because the sustainability should be also, you know, as a whole being, you know, your mind, your body, and your soul.
Yes.
And how to sustain yourself through this time is so key. And one of the things that really sustains me is my faith. So it's really helped me. I've been a lot more prayerful, a lot more connected. And that's part of my schedule. Like I have incorporated prayer in 3 parts of my day. I'm praying 3 times a day, which I never did that. I never prayed 3 times a day. I mean, and now I do, and it's fantastic. It's just amazing. So that has really helped me. And one of the things that I read during my prayer time, I read the Serenity Prayer, you know, just the Serenity Prayer, because it's just, you have to just let things just go. And that was kind of one of the videos that, you know, you saw that I shared with you, which we'll be posting that video later. But it's letting go. Letting go is, you know, and it was such a popular song in that movie Frozen, but literally this is the time to really sing that song out, you know, to go and be Eliza and sing it out. Because you really just need to just let go of the things that you cannot control. And that prayer is so important to me. It resonates because people who suffer from anxiety typically like to control things, like to be in control.
I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, right?
I had no idea that.
Right? So, exactly. So, newsflash, mind blown. So, when you read the Serenity Prayer, it just resonates so much, because you don't want, you can't control everything. You can only control the things that are at your, like, you know, at arm's reach. I think it is. It's like at arm's length. Yes. And so, like, if that's all you can control, well, then just reach out and just, that's all you can do, and just accept that, and really just come to a level of accepting what you can control, and the things that you can't, just let go, and just put those things out of your mind, and you will live a lot better, you know, a lot calmer, and a lot of more satisfied life during this time, and your new normal, you know. That's how I see it. It's like, hey, you know, try to live a better life in your new normal.
Yeah. I like that you brought that up, because the other day I was having a conversation with one of the people in my business networking group, and he commented on one of the gratitude videos that I had posted. And one of the things that he mentioned is, like, you know, I'm very grateful because now that I have my kids at home, I'm spending more time with them. And he shared a quick little snippet of a story about how he just had a cup of espresso with his daughter, just, you know, just for no reason whatsoever. She was finishing an assignment, and they just came in for a quick lunch, and he made some espresso for her and for him, and they just talked for like 20 minutes, like just chatting, something that would not have been possible because he would have been at the office and she would have been at school. And one of the things he mentioned in that quick little video he shared is like, I don't know if I want to go back to the old normal. Like, I want, obviously, like, I want life to go back to how it was, and I want things to be normal again. But I don't know if I want the old normal to be my new normal. See, I'm liking this normal now.
Yeah.
So talking about the fact about when things go back to normal, actually creating time and creating the opportunity for moments like that to actually happen, instead of maybe being on your phone for several hours at a time and really not connecting and just sitting down and having like that extra coffee break a day with someone whom you love in your family or a friend, you know?
Yeah. And that's exactly kind of like what eventually will happen with like your own schedule, creating a schedule, because those are really cute moments to incorporate in your day to day. And even when we do go back to the, you know, whatever we go back to, it's still not going to be the same ever. You know, like this time has forever changed things, and companies are going to completely start adapting, because employees are going to want to exercise some freedoms, you know. And I feel that you know, I had the pleasure of when I worked for the university, we had the pleasure of working our Friday. We did a 4-day work week, and on Fridays, yeah, and on Fridays we work from home. Yeah. So and I would go on video chat with my students, and so I'm kind of used to doing this whole video chatting thing and stuff. So like this whole Zoom thing, you know, we used to use Skype for business. That's what we used. Yes. So this isn't I mean, now it's Zoom, but like that's this whole concept of like, you know, sitting and chatting with someone and being at home is not new to me. But at the same time, it's obviously different than not being in an office setting. So I totally relate to having your friend's idea of like, oh, I don't want to lose that, because it was nice to like be able to like at the time when I had the home time, it was nice to like, yeah, make myself some coffee or do laundry, and or had you know, if I had my friend over for lunch, I had a friend over for lunch, and then I could be away from the computer and have lunch with my friend. Or if I had to go, you know, do a quick errand, I do the quick errand and come back. You know, so there's that freedom to be able to do that now. And it's almost like kind of like how, you know, I'm a child of the 80s. So the 80s, there was no internet. So there was a lot of like, I played kickball with my neighbors, you know, and like now I see like my neighbors, they've put out like a whole volleyball tent right in front of their lawn, and they have a volleyball. I mean, right, granted, everyone's wearing masks, but you're still playing volleyball. Yeah, and so they're playing volleyball right in front of their house, and I thought that was really cool. It made me remember like my kickball days from the 80s, like when I played with my neighbors. And I love going bike riding, and like I know exactly who's going to be out at what time, because I go at the same time. So I know I'm going to pass by and I'm going to see Joanne down the street, and Elizabeth down the street, who has mangoes, and she already has mangoes waiting for me. I mean, this is like the stuff that I remember growing up when I was a kid. Like I knew my neighbors, I knew their names. I could, you know, we could have conversations. So that I love, because that wasn't how it was before. It's not how it's been since the 80s, at least.
Yeah, it sounds like this has really kind of brought out a lot of like personal value for you as well. Like you've really been
Yeah.
able to connect with people more so, and it's great to hear that tidbit of your neighbors doing that. I mean, that's excellent. It's great
Yeah.
to. I've noticed that too in my neighborhood. Everybody's outside. I mean, kids are walking. They're on their bicycles. When I do
Yeah.
my workouts in my garage, when I do my weightlifting or my kickboxing, I know some of those people think I'm crazy because I'm hitting the bag hard and I'm like doing all these weird tough exercises. I get stared at a lot. But it's nice.
It's how you relieve stress. That's how you do it.
I mean,
Everybody has their way.
it's how I have fun. I mean, for me personally, like how I model, I'm very big on authenticity, and one of my values is always pushing to the limit and resting. But when you push yourself to the limit, you work out really hard. You give yourself time to rest after, but when you're working, you're working.
Yeah.
So, having that clear distinction, being authentic when you're doing something, I like that to be reflected in every area of my life. So, for example, when I work out, I work out. I put my phone on silent. I don't talk to anybody. I'm in the zone. So I'm working out, I'm doing my thing. I'm not there to chit chat, so it's like, that's something that's very important to me is when I do something, I put 100% of myself into what's going on. So like right now in this video call, same thing. The phone is off. There's nothing open on my computer that's not related to what we're talking about right now. So it's like you really focus on what you're doing at the moment. And if you're having a conversation with someone, same thing. Like when you talk to your neighbor, you're actually talking to your neighbor. You're actually looking them in the eye.
Yeah.
You're not on your phone. So it's like this idea of how we can use COVID-19 to kind of super magnify our focus and be present. Whatever it is that we're doing, being present with the other person, being present with ourselves. When we pray, like you said, making sure that you have that schedule. You're carving out time for doing specific things, and you're only doing that thing. And that's the best way to really grow, is when you do something unimpeded and you do something with 100% of your focus on that one thing at a time.
Yeah, I know, for sure. And the thing about being authentic that you mentioned, and focusing, I can relate to that, because that's kind of, when I'm working with someone and I'm either them when I'm helping them teaching them on massage tips, or when I'm actually there massaging them, I am completely focused. There are no distractions, nothing else that is more important than the person right in front of me. So that's my work ethic. It's always been that way. And it's just, I give 100% of myself, and why not? Like, why would you want anything else? Why would you not expect that, right? Like that's just, it's mind-boggling to not get to have not experience that.
Yeah.
So like I totally understand that. Like I'm completely focused, and the time is exactly yours. The time that I'm spending with you is the time that I'm spending with you. So yeah, so definitely. Well, that's really, really good stuff that we're bringing up here today, and I hope that our audience, our listeners and our watchers, right?
Our watchers, they're watching us.
Yes, those who are watching us are really enjoying all this.
On that note of how you carry yourself as a professional, specifically in the field of massage therapy. So what would be like three really good pointers of self-care that you could really show our audience or really talk about a little bit?
Sure. So to preface, for those who may or may not know about massage therapy, what massage therapy does is essentially it is meant to break up scar tissue that has caused through either by an injury or by repetitive usage. And its main focus is to break up the scar tissue and to bring back range of motion, reduce muscle tension, and reduce the occurrence or reoccurrence of chronic pain. So we are trained healthcare professionals. We take anatomy, pathology, muscular, musculoskeletal. Much of the classes that physical therapists take, we take. And we take, biology, which is what medical professionals take, anatomy and biology. So we are in the realm of the medical field. And in addition to that, I have a certificate in medical massage. So I treat a lot of specific areas, such as sciatica, which a lot of people are having at the moment from sitting for so long. And things like that, or like frozen shoulders. A lot of my clients have those too. Those are pretty big. So and going into those different areas, you have to tackle, you have to tackle the shoulder, you have to tackle for the frozen shoulder, you have to tackle the arms, the neck, the traps, and the scalp. So like it's this whole region, has to be taken care of. And as far as with the low back pain, it's your leg, it's your glutes, and it's your pelvic area. So your hips, and so you have to tackle that area in order to release that. So those are the big ones for people, is those two. And as far as like 3 different things for self-care right now, obviously breathing is a huge thing, and I talked about that earlier with when you have anxiety and how important it is to breathe. So I've been doing a lot of breathing exercises, because breathing is you're also doing a lot of self-massage through breathing. And I'll actually get into that a little bit to do like a show and tell.
Yes,
but breathing is there's 3 types of breathing exercises that I could show you. I don't know if you want me to get right into that.
Get right into it.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, my shirt says breathe. It's
That is so cool.
Right?
Wow, that's a cool shirt. 24/7, take it all in. Like, let's go. Like,
yeah.
That's great. Wow.
So yeah, breathing is super important.
Wow.
So one of the things I want to show everyone is that you want to be able to put one hand here, right, on your underneath your belly button, and then you can put another hand here, right? Actually, it's the heart, right by the heart, and under the belly button. And awesome. What you do is you can kind of rub your belly button and take some deep breaths. You hold it, and then you release for 4 seconds. So you inhale 4, you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you release for 8 seconds. And that's called the 4-7-8 technique. And that one's really good. You could do that standing up or lying down. You can do either way, because you do, and so if you want, you could test it out, and you can just breathe by doing those 4 counts, and then 7 counts, and then 8 would be to release. And that's a really effective one, because you're in touch with your body, and you can feel the diaphragm going in and out, just what you want it to happen. You want to be able to feel that. Another breathing exercises is with, holding one nostril. And you could, you just sit comfortably like I am right now, and then you're gonna breathe from the left side, and then you're gonna release from the other side. And you just do that, alternating the nostrils. So breathe, release from the other side. And that's another one that you could do to kind of put yourself into a calm state. And then finally, the most effective one, I think, in my opinion, is the cooling down breathing. This one, you lie down on your back, and what you're going to do is you're going to do an O shape of your lips, and then you're going to kind of stick your tongue just a little bit, kind of like if you were going to do like a whistle, but you're not going to do a whistle. And then you just like, you inhale through your mouth, and then you exhale through your nose. So you breathe and exhale through your nose until you feel calm. And that's cooling yourself inside. And then as you let go, it should be kind of warming coming out, right? When you're exhaling. So.
Wow.
And you start to feel a little bit cooler as you do it. And that is really effective, especially when you're having all that heat from the anxiety. That one's really effective.
Wow.
And of course, lying down is the best way to do it, because your body, you lie down, which is something we learn in massage, is that you're lying down is you're allowing your body to go into the sympathetic part of your, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic brain waves. So that you can sleep, so that you can be calm. Another effective tool is, there's an app that I love, and I use it for everything. I use it either for just to listen to it has like water sounds, and it has like birds chirping outside. It has like different sounds, nature sounds, but it also has the brainwave activity, which is really important for if you want to just calm yourself down. If you want to focus, there's one for focus. There's one for if you want to sleep. Like some people have a hard time sleeping. If you want like deep sleep, or you want maybe like a power nap. And this app is on the App Store. It's called Brainwaves. Essentially, that's the name of it. And that one's really good. I've recommended it to some of my clients already. And they love it. They love it. They have been able to feel a lot more calmer by incorporating that into their day. And so those are some of the things that I recommend. As far as at home, like to do some self massages to yourself.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, if you can hug somebody, then hug yourself, right?
Wow.
So you go and like, this is the easiest, probably the easiest way to get some endorphins, because you know that when you hug someone, you feel that, you feel the love endorphins come in, right?
Yeah.
And so you essentially do that. You wrap your arms and make sure, your hands are there on opposite sides of your shoulders, and then just squeeze. Yeah.
Oh my
I
God,
mean,
that's great.
right? It's just like, just squeeze tightly.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And then you're also kind of, you're also kind of like stretching out yourself too. And you can actually get a nice little stretch on your back as you're squeezing, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. And then you can even twist your torso over to one side, and you might hear a crack. I don't know. I crack everywhere. So you might hear a crack, and then you might want to just twist the other side just to get a nice little stretch. And then you're like, oh, I got a hug and a stretch at the same time.
Wow, it's like two birds with one stone.
Right. Right. So that's like
Oh my
a nice way to like, massage yourself. Another way that I like to, massage yourself, like a lot of people have a lot of like headaches and stuff. And you may not have like, some people use peppermint oil. Peppermint oil is really effective if you just put it right here on your temples here, and then right here on your forehead. And it releases the any of the headaches and migraines that you have. But if you don't have access to that, I mean, what else can you do? So what you can do is, obviously with some clean hands, you could use your thumbs and do some, some circular motions right here in the temple area, and circular motions right here in the, between your eyebrows. And you can really get in there. You can get right in there. It's called the ocular, kind of like, when you see the skulls, you're basically kind of like, it's very bony area. So yeah, so like you could kind of go in there, circular motion, and kind of,
Oh, that feels good.
right? Starts feeling good. So you could do that. You can also do some, yeah, and you can do that for as long as you need to. You can do that. You can also do some circular motions with your index finger right here in between your nose, and then right in the middle of your nose, right here too. You can kind of just move your nose around. It looks funny. And then if you feel like you have some sinus pressure, you can just put your index fingers right here. And that's actually a good segue to my next point, is called point therapy. Using your index fingers or your thumbs. Point therapy or acupressure is another way to release certain pain areas. So like this is good for like sinus. Another one for sinus or for releasing pretty much everything is this point right here, is called L4.
L4.
Yeah, in Chinese therapy that we learned in my program is a lot of acupressure. So like if you hit that right there, obviously breathe through it. It starts to release a lot of the tension either on your back, this is for headaches. It releases the sinus pressure as well. It's excellent. L for lungs. It's also going to open up your lungs. You're going to breathe better. So point therapy is another way that you could kind of take care of those areas. And then another specific area that everybody gets is your traps. So you want to go from here and like press down, right? Like about the middle of your traps in this section that you see right there.
Yeah.
You press that down, kind of in between. There's like an area between your collarbone and this muscle right here. It's called the trapezius.
The trapeze, yep.
Yeah, so that point's called GB20.
GB20.
Yeah, and that is going to release also tension and your headaches, and it's also very effective, especially even in that same area. Like your traps are tight, you can just press down there, and you could do them at the same time by pressing down. Yeah, and you can use the thumb, or you can use the index finger, or you can use, if you feel like you need more, you can use both the index finger and the middle finger together. Press and press and press down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So that should release some of the tension in your traps. Another one you could do is like you could rub, kind of like squeeze forward along your neck area.
Yeah.
Down to your traps, squeeze forward.
Yeah. That
could also help. That's another way that you can massage your area. Another one that I like is this one. I call this the scissors, the spears. This is my spears. In massage therapy, we talk a lot about like different tools that we can do. And so like I use these in the back of my neck and right in the area, literally just the area of my neck, right along the borders. I just go in, like if I'm about to grab like a claw, kind of like those claws that kind of like scoop up little stuffed animals in those gaming places, kind of like a claw, but you're basically just squeezing in. They go in for a few seconds and then out. In for a few seconds and out. And then in a few seconds and out. And you can do that all around your neck from here, from the end of your, like at the top of your neck, from C1 to C, basically, the cervical. So you can just do all that. And it's effective. Like it starts to like, oh, I can move my neck a little bit more now. So those are ways that that's point therapy, or what I call acupressure, and using your fingers, using your hands to help you relax and release the tension. And finally, I could go on, but
I'm sure you could.
is dry brushing.
Dry brushing.
Yes. Dry brushing, because there's a lot of people who may have bad circulation. Like I had a bad accident about 20 years ago, which is why I felt the call to be a massage therapist, is because I myself suffered a deep vein thrombosis after my accident, which clogged my femoral vein and my iliac vein on my left side.
Oh, wow.
So I have bad circulation as a result of that accident. Wow. So for me, self-care hits me completely home every time. So like I practice these things because they help me. And so I want to be able to help others, get better. Like I get better, like it just makes sense. And so dry brushing has really helped me with my circulation. And you basically do that in the morning when you wake up. And why that is because your body has been literally in the same mold all night. So you basically haven't moved your blood hasn't been moving yet, right? And so it's the most effective to move your blood up to your heart by actually, and I'm going to show you with my arm. And what you do is you're going to go from the motion is the order is from going up to, and just doing that very lightly. You don't have to press really hard. You're just going to be just kind of like if you were like just brushing, giving yourself, like in Hispanics, we call it like cosquillas.
Yeah, cosquillas. Yeah.
I don't know how that is. I don't know how to say it in English, but cosquillas.
It's like a tickle.
Kind of like a tickle, but like a really nice, like, yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of a tickle. And then you're just doing that forward and always towards the heart. And always like just, you know, kind of in a slow pace. You're not rushing through it. You're just kind of just, you know, and it's very calming at the same time. And you do that with your arms and you do that with your legs. And what it is that you're activating your lymph. Your lymph nodes are super important because if you don't know already, you need lymph nodes to be activated to fight infection. Right. So like everyone hears about lymphatic drainage massage. This is the way that you can do your own lymphatic drainage massage is through dry brushing. I mean, and especially during this time that you can't go get a lymphatic drainage massage, then you basically order one of these guys.
Wow, that's amazing. I would have had like no idea. That's so neat.
Yeah, and a lot of people that have that need lymphatic drainage, so kind of like people who have had surgeries, they highly recommend lymphatic drainage. And so you see a lot of like post-operative people and getting them. So like if you're somebody who had surgery and you're stuck inside your house, dry brushing, you know, so that would be a way for you to continue getting that.
Wow, Jackie. I mean, the volume and the quality of the content and the tips that you've given is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
I think that I for one, most definitely, I learned so much today. I mean, it's been what an amazing demonstration you did, and it was so great because it was so easy for me to follow along. I mean, I followed everything along. I did all the breathing exercises. You did them, all the movements. Like it was very intuitive, and you did a great job of demonstrating everything. I wish, you know, I almost got up to go to my bathroom to like grab a dry brush, you know, like to come back so that I could try it too.
Yeah, no, and like I said, there's different other things. There's actually more things that I could do with you, and you know, obviously there needs to be, sometimes you need some supplies, like for example, foam rolling. Foam rolling is another way to give yourself a massage, and I have a foam roller. And then, and if you have a tennis ball, or if you get a tennis ball, you can also give yourself a foot massage with a tennis ball. So there's ways, so I mean, we still have the ability to get things delivered to us by mail. So why not, get yourself a few of these tools, which are fairly inexpensive. They're not very, I mean, tennis balls are like maybe $2. And a foam roller is probably not more than $15. Yeah. And then this dry brush was probably like $10. So it's not very expensive. And at the same time, you're saving money, but you're also getting the benefits of having done a massage to yourself, you know, and you're relieving the tension and issues that you may, you know, that you're experiencing because you're sitting down all day, and or because you're going forward, you're spending a lot of time on a desk, and you're hunching forward, because a lot of things, it's you know, frozen shoulder, low back pain, neck pain, it's our posture, it's how we're sitting, or we're spending too much time sitting, and if we have if our feet hurt, maybe because we're standing up too long, maybe you're one of the first responders, and that's what you've been doing. You've been standing up, you've been on your feet for 12 hours a day, and like you can't wait to like relax and get a massage, but you can't. So this is a way for you to do it at home.
And I know that you've been doing a lot of videos, and you've been releasing more content. How can people get in touch with you? I mean, how can people see more of the value in the content? Because you've demonstrated so much here, but I know you have so much more to offer. How can people get in touch with you?
So my phone number and my Instagram, my IG is Live Pain Free Therapy. There isn't, and I love and you can reach out to me either through message, or you can literally call me. My phone number is out there. Great. And I'm also on Facebook, Live Pain Free Therapy. Thanks. And because Live Pain Free Therapy came out of my own situation, you know, 20 years ago, and my mom's story too. My mom has been living with arthritis for 36 years, rheumatoid arthritis. So I got into massage because I was massaging her as a young, you know, as her daughter, basically. So so this and so yeah, so that's my story. It hits home, it's very personal, and I give 100% of myself to every patient, and I want you to live a pain-free life. That's Live Pain-Free Therapy.
Wow, what an amazing motto.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. And you heard it all, guys. So go ahead and follow her on Instagram, reach out to her, check out her Facebook page. She's going to be uploading more content and videos. As you can see, if you've stuck around this far and you've watched this video, you've gotten personal experience on the value that Jacqueline can offer you. And honestly, Jacqueline, thank you so much. I just from having been here with you got a ton of value, and I know for a fact that everybody watching here did as well. So thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for being my guest here today on this growth series webinar. Thank you. And to those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. Check out our channel, Crusader Coaching, on Facebook and YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, I'd love to hear from you. You can send me a message, comment on the video, subscribe to our channels, because we've got more great content and more great individuals like Jacqueline coming along the way.
Thank you so much, Mauro, for inviting me today, and for all that you do. I'm so appreciative. And I've had so much fun. I'm so glad that you did the exercises with me.
You know, that's part of the fun, Jacqueline. That's part of the fun is making sure that we all get to participate.
Yeah, no, it's so much value that, you know, you present so much value to your community and to the community as well. And I really appreciate for you to invite me, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Great. Good. Thank you. Your words mean so much, and I'm very honored to have you here. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And
you're welcome.
A final thank you to those of you who watch. Thank you so much. Reach out to Jacqueline. Have her see how she can be of special value to you. And until next time, everybody, take care and stay strong. Big hearts for all of those in the audience. All right.
Big hearts.
Take care.